Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome, formerly of WMAL, it's the one and only Chris Kaye.
Man, what a round of applause. Thank you all.
Well, it's just me. I mean, you can applaud for yourself if you'd like to.
It is sad, isn't it?
Chris Kaye, first of all, thank you so much. I know that you're super busy this week. In fact, we were talking about it earlier. The week after you get fired, as we now both know, is one of the busiest in your life.
It really has been a blur because I was on the air until 11:45 on Friday. After the show, one of my producers said, the general manager wants to see you down the hall. No big deal. We talk all the time. I came in, he shut the door and sat down, and I looked at his face, and I went, oh, this isn't a normal meeting.
This is one of those meetings.
He was very, very, very emotional, and it's not something he wanted to do, but the parent company, as you know, Citadel Broadcasting laid off more than 200 people last week, and my name was on that list, so that was it. My wife actually put up a website, chriscoretalks.com.
Now, you didn't have that prior to Friday.
No, I mean, because we use the WMAL website.
Sure, yeah.
So I did, and I'm not, I had to be able to find people, a way for people like Kaye to find me if they wanted to talk to me or offer me a job.
Sure.
That is what you're calling, right?
Well, I don't know that we could meet your salary requirements. And I don't know that it wouldn't be as intellectually stimulating as, say, working with Andy and Grandy, or Grandy and Andy.
You get paid in sunshine where you live, right?
Of course we do. Of course we do. So you put up the website, and I imagine it's probably like in one of the top rated next to Google and Yahoo this week.
No, but we had to buy $3 more bandwidth this morning, not even knowing exactly what that means.
Right.
My wife and I having this conversation thinking, this is a conversation that would never have happened in this household last week. Let's talk bandwidth.
Look, and you're going to want to check with your accountant, but that $3 a month is tax deductible, I believe. 33 years at the same station, which, when I got fired, I was at the station I was at for 6 years, and I was getting congratulatory email from people asking me how I was able to keep a job so long. You were there for 5 times that plus. Which is, I mean, it's truly unheard of in pretty much any industry these days. What do you credit that to?
Really, honestly, I give you 2 answers. One, they're both accurate. One is luck, and right. I know that sounds modest, but the other part of it is, Mark, and you really have to be able to. You can't be rigid. You have to be able to be a utility player because the business changes. This particular situation had nothing to do with my not being able to evolve. My ratings were fine. I was making a lot of money for the station. Yeah. And nobody said, it's because you're not cutting it anymore by any means. It was just, if we can lop off all these salaries and show this to Wall Street will be impressed. And Citadel stock has gone up 40 cents a share since its close on Friday, and gosh, I feel I've done my part. I hope they appreciate it.
Chris Kaye, formerly of WMAL-AM for 33 years. I won't even tell you what I was doing 33 years ago. What made you different? Because I know a lot of people that aren't into conservative talk radio, and even a lot that do listen to the format, think, oh, you know what, it's just another Rush Limbaugh wannabe or another Sean Hannity wannabe. They all say the same thing. But what made you so different from them on a daily basis?
Well, because those people that wanted to hear only Rush Limbaugh or Mark Levin and just wanted to hear that political viewpoint didn't hear it from me, and so I would quite frequently hear from them that they were mad because, how did I turn into a flaming liberal? Well, it was just because I didn't agree with, some of the things that they were saying. I mean, if you want to talk, and this is for web broadcast, I don't see why anybody cares if people are gay. I don't really care. That's their business.
Right.
This whole, just pounding on this and let me tell you that's just against God's will kind of thing. Okay, well, God will sort that out. I got my own, I got to work on myself.
Yeah.
Well, that drives them crazy because then I'm being liberal. It's, well, okay, if that's liberal, it's liberal. To me, it is the epitome of what I think really conservative values are, which is leave me alone. And that's not leaving people alone. So, anytime we talked about that.
You can send your emails, by the way. chriscoretalks.com is the website.
Oh, thank you.
As a listener, one thing that fascinated me about your program and that I never heard on any other talk station, and especially a conservative talk station, is that you would change your mind on an issue. And most of the conservative, I would try to explain it to my wife, and she's not a talk fan. Any station that doesn't play Matchbox 20, she's not into. But I would
me too. Mine too.
Yeah, I would
Mine
pull
was
in.
listening to you.
I would run into the house and I would say, "Baby, you're not going to believe it. I was listening to WMAL and this guy Chris Core started the show thinking one way about it, and then he took like 19 phone calls and he came back from the commercial break and said, 'You know what? I changed my mind.'" Yeah. And you were the only open-minded radio talk show host I think I'd ever heard. I damn near drove off the road the first time it happened, but it was fascinating to me.
Well, and honestly, it's because what I tried to do is have a discussion with the listeners. I'm not preaching to them. I was having a discussion with them, and sometimes they would make points that I hadn't thought about, and I would it's not that I didn't have beliefs or I was wishy-washy. It's just like I'd go, we're having this discussion, and you beat me. You're right. I can't argue with that. I guess I hadn't thought through that.
I can't argue with that. That's exactly what you would say. I was like, wow. But
I like that. I mean, to me, here's the thing. To me, that's intelligent. And, getting some right-wing, gas bag to go up and hang up on his listeners or say, get off the phone, you moron. I heard last night.
I wonder who you could be talking about there.
Well, in this particular case, it's Michael Savage.
Right.
I heard Michael Savage last night he was just, this person was talking about how he's for Obama, I guess, or Clinton, and about taxes, and the guy's trying to make his point, and, Savage was just butchering him, and finally he said, "Get off my hair, you moron," and hung up. Okay, I'm never going to do that, and I think that's not intelligent. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's entertaining to some people. To me, it's just mean, and then why are you telling people to call if you don't want to hear what they have to say? So
you wrote a fantastic a letter to your friends, family, or your listeners, and you call them family, that WMAL put up on their website. And you mentioned, I have always had a real interest in politics. Perhaps that might be a career option. Now, are you insinuating as a political reporter or as a political candidate?
I don't think I'd want to be a candidate. I don't think that I have the stomach for that. I have sort of an in with the McCain campaign, and if there was something they thought would fit, I would be thrilled to work on a presidential campaign, just to be on the campaign trail and maybe handle press at a certain level or something like that. That would be really fun to do. It's kind of a fantasy. It's it's also say in one of the pieces, I'd love to work for the Washington Nationals now.
Right.
I can't really play second base, so they're going to have to figure out something else. And baseball and politics are the two things I probably think about more than anything else.
Wow, can you get more American than that?
No, really. I'm going to raise the flag here.
Yeah, throw in some apple pie and you're good to go.
Yeah, exactly right.
One last question before you go. You mentioned also one of your fondest memories is filling in for Paul Harvey.
Oh, I'll tell you, this is a great story. Yes, I got I interviewed with a guy who was with the ABC radio network because they were looking for substitute hosts for Paul Harvey. I did it, a handful of times, maybe 5-6 times, and I got to do it, and then I got this personal handwritten thank you note from Paul Harvey, addressed to me in his handwriting on his stationery for filling in, and I just my God. So fast forward to about 4 years ago, I asked my boss. I said, I'm going to be in Chicago. I'd love to go in and watch Paul Harvey do his broadcast, his noon broadcast. So he said, sure, I'll make that happen. And I went into the upstairs, and they said, well, Paul's in the office. He's writing his newscast, and you can wait in here, and here's where you'll sit in the studio. And I'm sitting in this waiting room, Mark, and all of a sudden I hear this voice. Where's that Chris Core? I want to meet him. And I'm going, oh, my God, that's Paul Harvey's voice coming down the hall. He was so, my God. And he said, well, how many years you been there? And I said, well, I've been there, 30 years. And he said, oh, boy, I'll tell you, that's unprecedented. That's amazing. Good for you. And all of a sudden I'm going, you're Paul Harvey and you're congratulating me? So he is, very possibly the nicest man on earth, and he's just unbelievable.
The handwritten note that he sent you, did he sign it good day?
No, he did not.
ChrisCoreTalks.com. And I know everybody in Washington, D.C., and a lot of people around the country are eager to find out where you land next.
Not more eager than I am.
Real quick, before we go, tell everyone what arrived at WMAL Studios the day that they let you go.
Oh, yes. several hundred coffee cups with my picture on them.
Chris Core, thank you so much for being my very first interview on what I hope to be a new segment, People I Want to Talk to.
Well, we'll see. Well, hopefully this won't get this segment canceled.
It's Mark Kaye, and thank you for checking out markkaye.com.